The committee considered the submission from the Minister of Education and observed that there is urgent need to hit the ground and activate the roadmap of the federal government on curtail the out-of-school children. No tangible action has been taken by the ministry considering the out-of-school children since 2024, notwithstanding its relevance. There is no reliable data to date on the out-of-school children. This deserves urgent attention to tackle the menace. Out-of-school children is a national phenomenon, especially with the viewed form of insecurity, kidnapping, and banditry all over the country, number and status of which varies from state to state. But the focus on tackling it over the years has been a few states. There has not been synergy or roadmap with the state government on out-of-school children. Our recommendation: the committee recommends that the Senate do urge the federal government to expand and implement the school feeding program to attract attendance of children to school and support their health and well-being. Urge the federal government to design an inclusive national policy on education that will energize the national and sub-national government to tackle responsibility and ownership and provide improved security safety of school at their levels. Urge the Federal Ministry of Information and National Orientation Agency, community and religious leaders, and all relevant agencies to embark on national sensitization aimed at identifying and enrolling out-of-school children. All the national legislators to liaise with various state and local government to ascertain accurate data of out-of-school children for adequate planning and funding. All the executive to allocate and timely release adequate funds to the Federal Ministry of Education and other relevant government agencies charged with the responsibility tackling of out-of-school children to reduce it to the barest minimum within the timeline 2024 to 2027 for execution of the education renewal hub agenda of the present administration. In conclusion, addressing the issue of out-of-school children in Nigeria demands constant joint effort of government at all levels, national and state, local government, traditional rural, parent development partners, civil society organizations, and stakeholders in education. Ensuring security, improved education infrastructure, enhancing teachers' training, accurate data management, adequate funding, monitoring, and updates. Collaboration with state and local government are all crucial in this regard.
The crisis facing our educational system is at the core of insecurity, is at the core of leadership failure, is at the core of a lot of issues affecting the development of this country. And one of the most important contributions this Senate can make in our national development efforts is to ensure that we get to the root of this. Not just addressing the issue of out-of-school children, which is very important, but also the crisis facing the educational system generally. All of us who went to schools 30, 40, 50 years ago know the kind of education that was available for the rich as well as the poor. There was a time when students from all over Africa and even beyond took pride in coming to this country to attend our universities, primary, secondary, and tertiary. So, Mr. President, there are a lot of effort. For instance, the universal basic education, which you just mentioned. Mr. President, the rule about the universal basic education is that the government will provide certain part of the fund, while the state government will complement. But we have billions of naira lying fallow at the universal basic education, with the state unable to come up with their own counterpart funding to address all these menace we have under the out-of-school children. They cannot come up with the fund. And the federal government every year, because universal basic education in the budgetary allocation is on a first-line charge. It's a first-line charge item. So the federal government is providing their fund, but the subnationals are not coming up with their own counterpart funding, which is a problem. So, Mr. President, I want to say that the government is doing a lot of effort is being as contained in this report. The identification and the exercise carried alone identify about 24,000 out of school children between 2021 and 2023. About 1 million enrollment has been done regarding the out of school children as contained in this report. As contained in this report. While the report also raises the challenges that is confronting, but in their recommendation, some of the challenges that were raised, they were silent on it. And this is one area I want us to look at. This problem has been there. Lip services have been paid to the issue of education. Today you go to other, even African countries today, you will see how they manage their primary schools. If you see their primary schools, they are no different with the tertiary universities we have, tertiary institutions we have in Nigeria. Go to Morocco and come back and see how their primary schools are. See the kind of skills they give to their children. And we are here, we are leaders, but we every day stand to pay lip services to these issues. When funds are appropriated, when state governments are asked to give their counterpart, or when federal governments or World Bank, why should we even be taking money from World Bank to fund our primary education in this country? We embezzle the money. It's shameful. Go to see secondary schools, go to see primary schools. Not in one state, in all the states of this country. But every time we sit down, we go and look at reports upon reports every time, and we are not doing anything about it. I will recall when they said in the northern Nigeria, the Almajiri system, the schools that we have, they are going to, the convention, they are going to bring them up and put them together under the conventional system. They did as if it's going to work. Budget was made for all those purposes and nothing was done. If we want to go further, if we want to move forward, we need to change and create some innovations to our primary school curriculum. Today is not about school feeding that will make children to go to school. No. When you give a contractor and he's giving them one egg, and you think that is what will make them to go to school? Go to China and see little things that attract children to school. And those things that are attracting those children to school are also giving those children some kind of insights on how to innovate. This is what we need.
This Senate do resolve to have a national summit on the issue of out-of-school children to involve the federal government of Nigeria, the state governments, the local governments, the traditional rulers, the parents, development partners, civil society organizations, and all major stakeholders in the concern in the educational sector to bring a holistic solution to the menace of out-of-school children in Nigeria. That motion has been supported by the Deputy Senate President. And those in support of the motion say aye, and those against say nay. The ayes have it.